Hey everyone, welcome back to the Incredible India podcast series. I'm Tim.
And I'm Debbie.
Today we're embarking on, well, a really fascinating exploration, a proper deep dive into Mumbai's architectural soul, you could say.
Hmm.
We're zeroing in specifically on its spectacular Gothic and Art Deco buildings.
Yeah, they're quite something.
And these aren't just, random structures dotted around. The sources we've been digging into show they tell this really powerful story.
Exactly. The story of Mumbai's emergence really as a major global trading hub over the last, 2 centuries or so.
Right. They're like silent witnesses to this huge transformation.
And what's really interesting, Tim, is how the material points to this fantastic way to experience it all firsthand.
Ah, the heritage walk you mentioned.
That's the one. It's like stepping right into a living timeline. Each building is kind of a chapter in Mumbai's story.
Okay. So our mission today is sort of to unpack what makes this walk special.
Yeah, and give you, our listeners, especially those keen on getting knowledge quickly and thoroughly, a really clear picture of what to expect.
Good stuff. And it's worth saying right up front, these aren't just any old buildings. They're actually part of a UNESCO World Heritage Site.
That's a key point. It really highlights their historical and artistic importance on a global scale.
Definitely gives them weight.
And, to really appreciate what you'd see on this walk, we want to give everyone the tools to be their own sort of architectural detective.
Oh, I like the sound of that.
So we'll be breaking down the key differences between Gothic and Art Deco styles, just the essentials, so you can spot the telltale signs yourself.
So by the end, we'll have a better handle on Mumbai's history and maybe look at buildings everywhere a bit differently.
That's the idea, a richer way of seeing the built environment around you.
Okay, let's dive in then. Our sources really emphasize this transformation Mumbai went through, particularly in the late 19th century. What was driving that huge change?
Well, it's fascinating. There's this direct link you see between Mumbai becoming this global trading powerhouse and this massive construction boom.
Right, the money pouring in.
Exactly. The late 1800s saw huge economic growth, think cotton, trade routes opening up, and all that wealth needed somewhere to go. It directly funded these, pretty impressive architectural statements.
So the buildings weren't just for show.
Not at all. This heritage walk, it's not just about admiring, fancy carvings. It's about understanding the powerful economic forces, global trade that literally built them. Grand commercial hubs, administrative centers, they needed all of it.
So this walk then is much more than your average city tour. It's actually experiencing, 200 years of history unfolding as you walk?
Precisely. It offers this really tangible way to trace Mumbai's rise, becoming this key trading center in Asia. Each building reflects a specific moment, the economy, the society, even the politics of its time.
You can almost read the city's biography in stone and brick.
That's a great way to put it. Yeah.
Now, the sources use this term, cultural evangelist, for the guides. That sounds intense. What does that mean in this context?
Yeah, it is a strong term, isn't it? I think it implies someone who's not just knowledgeable, but deeply passionate. They're expert storytellers.
Okay.
They use the architecture as their script, weaving together history, little anecdotes, architectural details, bringing the whole story to life, not just reciting facts.
Right, more engaging. And it sounds like it's not just looking from the outside. A big highlight seems to be actually going inside the main railway station, CST.
Oh, absolutely. Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj Terminus. That's huge.
Why is that so significant?
Well, CST itself is just this jaw-dropping masterpiece. Victorian Gothic mixed with Indo-Saracenic elements. We can talk more about that style later.
Oh, okay.
But stepping inside, you get the sheer scale, the incredible detail, the craftsmanship. And crucially, it's still a massively busy, functioning station.
Ah, so you see the history alive, not just preserved in amber.
Exactly that. It connects the legacy right to modern Mumbai life. You're in a living piece of infrastructure, not just a museum piece.
That's cool. The itinerary sounds pretty packed, too. Eros Cinema, Empress Court, High Court, Rajabai Tower.
David Sassoon Library, Elphinstone College.
Yeah. And it ends at the CSM Museum that used to be the Prince of Wales Museum, right?
That's right. It's a really well-curated route. Each stop shows you something different, a different facet of the city's growth, or a variation in style.
So you see the styles evolving as you walk.
You do. You can see the shift from that really ornate Gothic, all pointed arches and tall spires, towards the more streamlined geometric shapes of Art Deco.
Reflecting a different era, I guess. Early 20th century.
Exactly. Changing tastes, changing technology, a different social vibe. Even seeing the Arrow Cinema from the street, apparently it's closed now, still gives you that Art Deco feel. Sometimes with bamboo scaffolding, which is a very Mumbai contrast.
Ah, yeah, the old and the new. Now, you mentioned the sources had feedback from people who've done the walk. What were they saying? Anything stand out?
Oh, loads of enthusiasm. What really comes through is the praise for the guides. One name, Pankaj from Five Senses Tours, pops up a lot.
Okay, so knowledgeable guides are key.
Definitely. People rave about their depth of knowledge, not just architecture, but Mumbai history, culture, even current affairs or politics, if asked.
So you can really pick their brains.
Seems like it. It sounds very interactive, not just a lecture on legs. People felt they got a genuine understanding, not just a surface skim.
That makes a difference.
Yeah, many reviews talk about the sheer amount of information, historical and architectural. One person actually said the 3 hours felt like time travel.
Wow, high praise.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
And apparently there's a short train ride included.
Yeah.
From CST to Masjid Bundar.
Oh, interesting. Why that?
It seems to be a way to give people a little taste of local daily life, the commuter buzz, alongside seeing the grand historical buildings. A nice touch. People seem to really appreciate it.
Yeah, blends the monumental with the everyday. That's smart. One reviewer made an interesting point about the British legacy, not just the buildings, but the railway system itself, still working efficiently.
That is perceptive, isn't it? It ties the architectural ambition to the infrastructural development of the colonial era.
Right, they went hand in hand.
Yeah, the reviewer saw a link between the artistic achievement and the engineering feats, both leaving this lasting mark on the city. Makes you think.
Definitely. And speaking of CST, you mentioned the style mix. The source notes its original name was Victoria Terminus.
It was, yes. The name change obviously reflects post-independence India, but knowing the original name helps place it historically.
And the style. Neo-Gothic with Indo-Saracenic bits. Can you break that down a little?
Sure. So Neo-Gothic means it's a revival of medieval Gothic architecture. Think pointed arches, ribbed vaults, lots of ornamentation, aiming for that grand vertical feel.
Okay, got the Gothic part.
The Indo-Saracenic part is the fusion element. It blends that European Gothic structure with features from Indian, particularly Indo-Islamic architecture.
Like what kind of features?
Things like domes, chhatras, those little elevated domed pavilions. You see intricate, jolly latticework screens. It was a style the British favored, trying to create a visual bridge, between their style and the local architectural language.
Oh, interesting blend. Now, Practicality Check One review mentioned challenges seeing some buildings, something about subway construction.
Ah, yes, on Dadapoi Naroji Road. It sounds like ongoing metro work, which is pretty common in Mumbai, can make accessing the pavement view a bit tricky sometimes.
So dodging traffic might be involved.
Potentially,
Yeah.
yeah. The reviewer noted maybe having to walk alongside traffic for a bit. It's just the reality of a bustling, developing city, isn't it? Progress and preservation side by side.
Fair enough. Something to be aware of. But on the plus side, it seems the guides sometimes manage to get access to places not usually open, like inside St. Xavier's College courtyard or parts of the High Court.
Yes, that sounds like a real bonus. Getting those kinds of glimpses into courtyards or specific sections would definitely enhance the experience.
A bit of special access.
Exactly. Speaks volumes about the guide's connections and the extra value they can bring, showing you hidden corners and adding context right there.
Nice. Okay, what about the nuts and bolts? Duration, cost.
Right. So the standard group walk is about 3 hours long, and the price mentioned is around 1750 rupees per person.
Okay.
They also offer private walks, and the cost for those depends on your group size. So there's flexibility there.
3 hours seems like a decent chunk of time, enough to cover ground, but not overwhelming.
Yeah, it sounds like a really efficient way to absorb a lot of Mumbai's history and architecture without spending days researching it yourself.
Perfect for someone who wants to get up to speed quickly, but thoroughly.
Precisely. It connects you to the city's past through its present-day buildings in a really engaging way.
And this idea of cultural evangelist, it's not just Mumbai, is it? The source hints at other walks.
That's right. It seems like Five Senses Tours, the company often mentioned, has these kinds of guides leading cultural walks across India.
Focusing on different things.
Yeah, art, dance, food, local customs, traditions. Not just architecture, it suggests a whole network dedicated to offering these immersive cultural deep dives.
So the Mumbai Walk is part of a bigger picture.
Seems like it. A movement to connect people more deeply with India's heritage through guided exploration.
And there was also a quick mention of other sites near Mumbai, ancient caves.
Oh yeah, the Buddhist caves, Kanheri, Karla, and Paja, they're much, much older, like 2,000 years old.
Wow, completely different era.
Totally different. Rock-cut architecture, different artistic style. It suggests options for exploring even deeper layers of the region's history beyond the colonial period. A great next step, maybe.
Definitely something for the keen explorer. Okay, so wrapping this up, this deep dive has made it pretty clear that this Mumbai Heritage Walk is, well, much more than just a walk.
Absolutely. It's a really well-designed experience, a fantastic, efficient shortcut to understanding the city's layered history and cultural evolution, all through its amazing Gothic and Art Deco buildings.
Yeah, we've touched on the key styles, what makes the guided experience special, and how these buildings really do tell that story of Mumbai becoming a global player.
Mm-hmm. Hopefully everyone listening feels they've got a good handle on it now.
And if you're feeling inspired, maybe wanting to see it for yourself and explore more of incredible India, you can book a tour with Five Senses Tours.
How do people do that?
You can shoot them an email at contact@fivesensestours.com. That's five, the numeral, sensetours.com.
Okay, contact at fivesensestours.com. Got it.
Or you can call or send a WhatsApp message. The number is +91 984 56 77446.
Right, +91 984 56 77446. Easy enough.
So maybe a final thought to leave people with. These incredible buildings, they're more than just stone and steel, aren't they?
Definitely. Silent witnesses, like you said earlier,
Hmm.
holding centuries of stories about trade, ambition, change.
Makes you wonder, doesn't it? What other stories are etched into the architecture right around where you live, just waiting to be noticed?